So if you're a little bit late to the party, it looks like civil war started already between MAGA and the Republican Party, and we'll just call them the tech right and the right at this point, as that's being what it's referred to. So we'll see who's right, and you can digest these comments if you will. And I'll kind of give my reaction to some of them, as well as my main reaction after the video. Go ahead and light you up one. It's Friday. Don't let this shit stress you out. Just look at it as comedy as I do, because it's really all just fucking a comic fucking joke, right? Now, if you're in the tech field, obviously it's not. If you're in the engineering space, it's obviously not. But continue to innovate, continue to be creative, and I'm sure you'll find your way, and hopefully you can go ahead and dethrone a fucking dickhead like this, right? So in any case, we'll start out with one user basically posed, genuinely curious, are there actual instances where qualified native-born Americans couldn't get jobs in tech because foreigners took all of them? I'd be surprised if that's true, because at any given point there are hundreds of thousands of unfulfilled jobs in tech. Elon replies, there's a permanent shortage of excellent engineering talent. It is the fundamental limiting factor in Silicon Valley, right? Another user replies, we'll build a school. We have brains. Elon Musk replies, if you need a school, you've lost already, right? Another user posts, there are over 330 million people in America. Surely there must be enough among them to build your talent pool. Why would you deny Americans that opportunity to bring foreigners here? Elon Musk says, your understanding of that situation is upside down and backwards. Of course, my companies and I would prefer to hire Americans, and we do, as that is much easier than going through the incredibly painful and slow work visa process. However, there is a dire shortage of extremely talented and motivated engineers in America. This is not about handing out opportunities from some magical hat. You don't get it. This is blindly obvious when you're looking at NBA teams, as the physical differences are so obvious to see. However, the mental differences between humans are far bigger than the physical differences. Right. So let me kind of break down this particular section, and we'll move on to the next tweets, right? First off, it's a real dickhead response to go ahead and say you're not willing to go ahead and build a school, to go ahead and basically mentor a talent pool here. If you're so innovative and you wanted to create a talent pool here, and you're really about America staying number one rather than just your company being number one, and basically eliminating that particular workforce to go ahead and run on a fully automated or integrated service and platform, smart learning programs, robotics, whatever the case may be, right? They'll go ahead and basically cut out the expenses for the worker and go ahead and contribute more to profits and more money in your pockets, making you guys fat, but also go ahead and spreading the divide between the rich and the poor, right? So when you talk about saying that you wouldn't go ahead and build a school, or you lost already without a school, well, who had your support? What built your support, Elon? Where did you go ahead and get, what sparked your mind to go ahead and be the creator that you were? And where did you go ahead and learn to do so? Sure, you didn't just fuck around and pick up a book and say, fuck it, I can go ahead and do it. Or if you did, I'm sure you didn't just fuck around and go ahead and say, you know what? Go to a bank, let me just go ahead and get this right now without any kind of credibility behind you being the trust fund kid you were, right? So if you really wanted to inspire, why wouldn't you go ahead and, at this point, build a school? You could start out from middle school. You could start out going and inspiring kids from elementary up. You could go ahead and articulate something like this into the curriculum. Since you guys want to go ahead and fucking destroy the Department of Education, why don't you guys go ahead and do something like that, where you teach kids how to go ahead and be innovators, creators, rather than fucking workers, right? So in any case, when we get to this other thing, I couldn't wait to go and kind of talk about this, right? You said something about it's blindingly obvious when looking at NBA teams, as the physical differences are so obvious to see. But if you're comparing this to other countries as opposed to the U.S., we've dominated for anytime we've ever played. The only time we've ever took less than gold is when we send out less than our best. And half the time, we don't even the teams that you're talking about play with each other every single motherfucking year on out to go and practice together. Our team doesn't. And by far, we jump higher than you for the most part, unless you're talking about height and maybe built, as far as Embiid and Jokic, those are your two golden stars. You don't have the athleticism or the height. It's the truth. Or the coordination or the skill set. And for the most part, going back to the school subject, if America has the most money, which we do, obviously, out of any other country, right? Not to say, obviously, there's not richer people in other countries, but as a whole, obviously, we're not a third world country, and so people have luxuries that most people wouldn't. And then you get to, there is somewhat of a middle class, and even the upper class, they're willing to go and develop their children and invest in them in their educations, which is kind of going to contradict what Ramaswamy has to say. But you're telling me that basically the country with the most money to spend on education and skill sets, you're not willing to go ahead and basically allow a mentorship or a mentor program to go and develop that talent pool that you so badly want? from a younger age to eventually go ahead and have the student outgrow and outdo and to be better and outperform the teacher? You? Yourself? Yeah, okay. So, back to these particular tweets, right? One guy responds to Elon's initial tweet, there's a permanent shortage of excellence in engineering talent. It is the fundamental limiting factor in Silicon Valley. One user responds and says, Silicon Valley's biggest limitation, engineering talent shortage. The U.S. semiconductor industry alone needs over 160,000 engineers by 2032. Excuse me. Driven by $250 billion in new investments. Demand for AI experts has skyrocketed, with Elon calling the talent war the craziest ever, right? And then Elon replies to that particular tweet, no, we need more like double that number yesterday. The number of people who are super talented engineers and super motivated in the USA is far too low. Think of it like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit the top talent wherever that may be in order for your team to win. Now, that aspect, I do agree. We do want the best top talent here in America working for us, right? But what the tech field is going and basically saying, I'll kind of respond to this as well. I've seen, number one, Elon Musk get on a conference call be questioned before by a person that understood what Elon Musk was talking about. And normally, Elon Musk, I'm guessing, is because he speaks in the complexity of what he does, most people probably don't know what he's talking about. This particular person did. And he saw that Elon Musk was kind of winging it as he went and was kind of full of shit, if you will. So he basically destroyed what Elon Musk was saying. And Elon Musk, rather than going ahead and responding to him and saying, no, you're wrong, this is why I'm right, he basically said, well, you're a piece of shit. You're just on here trying to demean me. Get off the call. And then went on to the next question. Didn't want to go ahead and respond or debate because at the end of the day, you couldn't. You resorted to little boy tactics, right? So the tech field out here would have a right to feel a certain particular type of way against you, to say that they don't have the talent pool here to go and fulfill whatever sector or job need you might need or might have, based on the fact that, number one, you can't even probably debate the top talent pool here to make yourself look the best at what you look to be, as opposed to what you might really be. And what I mean by that is you might have somebody out here that makes you look stupid, just like that person did on your conference call, and kind of destroys what makes you look to be the most brilliant person in your particular field, right? And now most people, if you were obviously the teacher, even if you're not the teacher, you want somebody to beat you. You want somebody to beat you eventually, right? Now I know that's hard to go ahead and say, and most people are going to say, "Fuck, man, I wanted the record." But at the end of the day, we're here to go and innovate. You held the record at one point. The person that beat you just means they're number two. And that's okay, right? They had more motherfucking things to go and develop along the way. It's evolution. However, with this type of shit, when you say you want to go ahead and bring in top talent from other places, the tech people are basically saying, no, the real reason you want to do this is because you want to bring them in for cheaper labor. You want to go ahead and pay somebody $85,000 for what the going rate here would be $150K, right? And that's what they're basically saying. There's really not a shortage here. It's the fact that you don't want to go ahead and pay what they're worth. And they've already got themselves in debt for schooling, thinking that the reward was going to outweigh the risk, based on the sector being such a hot sector. But then now you basically created this AI platform, smart learning program bullshit, and these fucking robotics that are looking to go and replace the particular workforce where they may not even have a fucking job unless they're so brilliant in that top 0.01%, right? So the whole tech field could be fucking out of a fucking job because of you. And at the same time, it's not necessarily just because of you. You're looking for that 0.1%, which I get, but at the end of the day, that's dominance, right? There's no motherfucking competition in the market if one person dominates. Simple as that. Which is why you've seen the Mag 7, the big caps dominate, and the small caps and mid caps get killed. Simple as that. Then we'll continue to go ahead and continue to read some of these tweets, and then I'll get back to the other shit with the reactions and such, right? So Elon Musk further posts, it says, it comes down to this. Do you want America to win, or do you want America to lose? If you force the world's best talent to play for the other side, America will lose. End of story. And I agree with that. I do agree with that, right? I'm not against having the best talent here. I'm also, however, very against saying that the best talent's not here simply because you don't want to pay that best talent what they're worth. LeBron James and those NBA teams that you want to mention so badly, they get paid what they're fucking worth. Even Jokic. Embiid, they get paid what they're fucking worth. Doncic gets paid what he's fucking worth. Remember that, right? They're not working for cheap labor, Elon. So just remember that, because if they're not getting paid, what say if a person was making $150K to do this particular job, and you're hiring for $85K, we would like to go ahead and see if that person's really better than that other person. If so, then why isn't that person getting paid what the going rate is? Any case, you make a $500 billion. Your company's worth a $500 billion, excuse me, right? So let's get back to more tweets. It says, Bowtied Ranger post, I'm looking at England and Canada, and it doesn't look like they're winning with all the Indian talent. Actually, it looks like they're losing pretty big right now. And even though the brain power that existed in India for centuries wasn't able to pull India out of being a... And just, it says show more. I can't do it because it's a YouTube joint. So Elon replies, or excuse me, that was a reply to Elon's initial post. It comes down to this: do you want America to win or do you want America to lose, right? So let's get down to this. Investing in Americans is actually hard. Now, I don't know when this tweet... Okay, no, this was December 25th of 24. Investing in Americans is actually hard, really hard. It costs money and time and effort to make a person productive. It's a short-term net loss. It's much easier to bring in skilled workers who might not do quite a good job, but will work for a fraction of the cost and be happy just to be here. That kind of puts a fucking damper on your argument that you want the best talent pool here, because you just said you might not have the best skilled workers or just as good as workers, but they're more thrilled to be here and work for a fraction of the cost. Okay. Right? Now remember this. I'm still trying to go through all the fucking particular tweets or whatnot before I get to my main reaction, so I'll wait till I get there, but I just remember that particular joint so I can go ahead and fuck around and really nail down on it, right? Let's see. I think that might have been pretty much the whole ordeal with Elon Musk, or at least from what I can gather. So let me just go ahead and respond with Elon Musk, then we'll break down Ramaswamy's bullshit, right? So here's how I was looking at it from not just the perspective of, obviously, you motherfuckers want to go and eliminate the workforce for higher paying jobs for Americans, right? And then possibly you were trying to go ahead and push down the Americans to go ahead and work these lower level jobs that you're now trying to get rid of our cheaper labor force that would initially do these particular jobs and force us to work for their particular wages. Otherwise, there might not be nothing else, right? But here's what really upset me too, because if you want to get rid of our cheaper labor force, you know, that's the 4% of our community, which is immigrants that come in that may not be the top 0.01%, right? But they still have skills and skill sets that Americans either do have or don't want to, or basically even if they do, they don't want to fuck around and do it for the pay that they would get, right? They would rather start their own business or do a side hustle, whatever the case may be, rather than work for a company, work for fucking bottom dollar, let somebody else eat off their fucking, you know, their hands and knees, if you will, right? So this is why I was pissed off in the first place. MAGA was so incredibly worried about supposedly immigrants were taking your jobs, right? They were spending your tax dollar, or they were spending our tax dollars on them rather than American needs, right? And there were so many motherfucking flaws to that, because number one, if you look at the drug prevention programs, it's filled with fucking fraud, right? And all these particular homes and group homes and programs that they have, it's filled with fucking fraud. Anything provided by the government, though it might be in the right space or right mind, it's easily taken advantage of, and millions go out the fucking window from that, right? So there is money spent towards our drug prevention programs. As far as the vets, another story. They've never really taken care of our vets. Don't think they ever really will go and take care of our vets. Not like they should. And Trump faked the fucking knee injury so he didn't have to go into the draft and go fight in Vietnam as the rich kid he was. And then graduated from, what was it, fucking Stanford or Harvard, one of the two. And was said to, there was a rumor that basically his father ensured that he graduated. But in any case, you can imagine people like this wouldn't probably be in your benefit, right? So getting back to what I was saying with the cheaper labor force, if you want to remove, say, the people that do our roofing, our framing, our flooring, our landscaping, our auto work, our disposal, our installation, right? Our agricultural work, transportation, the list goes on and on and on. And they do it for a fraction of the cost that Americans would rather go ahead and do it for, or that Americans won't do it for, right? Because it's not going to go ahead and keep them above water. And most Americans, let's just go ahead and use this as an example, right? For the DoorDash and Uber Eats, you'll see, say it says Kathy, let's just use Kathy Blanks, fake name, right? But then you get an immigrant or a person that as a man that is not of this person, then you see this person multiple times or under this particular name, and it's a different person every time. So Americans got smart and basically started renting out cars and employing immigrants to go ahead and do that particular work, because Americans don't want to do it. Americans' smart work was, fuck it, I'm not going to work harder, I'm going to work smarter. I'll just get a car, put some people in it, let them use my name, break me off a percentage, and then you get broken off a percentage, and then I don't even have to do the work, right? So they may not even have to provide the fucking car. They may just have the name and whatnot, and the immigrants don't have the name, don't have the social security number in order to go and work for these companies, so they just work under them. So if you want to remove those type of people, and you want to remove such a large labor force, I was like, well, who's going to do those fucking jobs for those wages, right? And then if you do boost those particular wages, and you do find an actual pool that's willing to go and do so, though you'll probably still have a shortage, how do the prices not get inflated? Because if you buy American or build American, buy American, then you pay American, which is a lot more, right? Period. Simple as that. It's not going to be the discounted price, because if you want $20 for flipping burgers, which at this point, even though I clown it, at the end of the day, look, how else are you supposed to fucking make it? Because $40,000 is not going to keep you fucking really swimming any more than $550 used to back in that particular time, right? The cost of living is fucking trumped the wage increases, or the average wages, if you will. So my whole thing is, if you were going to go ahead and remove our cheaper labor force, and we were going to have to pay inflated prices, but then you're willing to go ahead and bring in a cheaper labor force for the higher paying jobs, which Americans basically went to school for, put themselves on tremendous fucking debt to go and achieve these particular joints, but you don't want to pay them now to get them out of these particular debts, or you want to pay them bottom fucking dollar, which they're not willing to work for because they know the going rate. How is that benefiting America? It seems like basically you're just trying to benefit your company because the cheaper labor force benefits you, but the cheaper labor force that benefits the property owner, the small business owner, the homeowner, right? The consumer, you're getting rid of all the prices and the people that gave us the fucking deals, and the same thing you're trying to accomplish with your company. How are you for America and not for basically going and dividing the fucking wealth even fucking more? The wealth divide even further, the wealth gap? Kind of weird, right? Then you get Ramaswamy coming in. I'm just going to paraphrase his fucking tweets. His shit was basically looking like, you know, if you look up to the prom queen versus the Olympian math winner, whatever the fuck he was, or if you're looking up to, you know, the jock over the valedictorian, then you're not going to produce the best engineers. He went on to further say, you know, a culture that's driven by, I believe he said something like Saved by the Bell and a culture that looks up more so to Zach and AC Slater versus Screech, more than Urkel, more to Stefan than Urkel, is not going to produce the best engineers. So he's basically saying that Americans basically spend far too much motherfucking time on TV and, you know, chilling, if you will, is what he put in one of his posts, versus actually going ahead and investing time to their education, science projects on the weekend, as he said, and extracurricular activities that would go ahead and help you be more valuable in life, right? Now, mind you, this completely contradicts everything. Again, if America's got the most money, if we put the most fucking money into the education, which is typically either, from what I've seen with the parents that have money, to either invest in their kids' education or their athletic shit, whatever the fuck they're doing sports-wise, right? It's one of the two, or sometimes both, right? If you have a good parent and have the money to go ahead and do so. So if you have a country like that with the most fucking money and the people are already doing that, you're insulting the fuck out of certain people. And then you're also a person speaking from the outside looking in, because at the end of the day, your ancestry comes from another country, right? And it sounds like your parents were immigrants and maybe you were born here, but at the end of the day, you're first generation. You don't really have any right to go and talk about anybody or any other family, especially other than what, you know, came out of your household or maybe around your group. So, not to say that he's wrong. At the end of the day, I do agree that we do need to have people invest more so into the education of the children, right? But a lot of people are already fucking doing that. The people that have money, the people that are good parents often do. The ones that don't, well, you know, that's a whole different thing. And that's when you start to talk about, well, you don't want to have any kind of abortion rights. Well, you want to have teenagers having babies. You're not going to have these type of people that are far enough in life to go ahead and teach these kids how to be anything. The majority of these people that have these kids at these ages. And especially if they can't afford to have the fucking kid. So it's a lot of shit. If you look at, they started the Civil War, but I'm just sitting back laughing because I'm sitting there like, I told you, and I'm just waiting for this motherfucking relationship to sour because I know Oranges are going to take well to this once he sees his spotlights getting taken. Or maybe Elon Musk has got something on his ass, and the fact that he was able to go ahead and beat prison by getting elected to the president and getting clemency or whatever the fuck it was. You know, Trump don't have to run again. He might just say, fuck it, I don't care, let them do what they do. Elon Musk has got so many capabilities, I don't want to offend this man. He's got too much money. But you had a Republican that got really upset that's been in Trump's cabinet that apparently got kicked off X, lost her badge and all that because she questioned why Elon Musk would go ahead and say that he wants to bring in foreigners when, you know, the whole thing about going ahead and basing supposedly with the deportation is about bringing American jobs back and putting Americans first. So, thought it was a funny story, and I wanted to bring that to the attention of everybody and see how you digest it, right? But my reaction to it is just basically what I said. It looks like when it's beneficial to them to have a cheaper labor force, cool. When it's not benefit, but it doesn't matter if it's beneficial to us as the blue collar worker to get your deals on your clothing, your food, right? Your auto work, your landscaping, your renovations. You don't get those type of deals no more. Now you have to pay commercial costs because they want to get rid of that labor force. But anybody that can help in the engineering space or the tech world that can help them out and be basically much more profitable with less employee expenses, eventually until it's on autopilot and they got AI and the robots basically taking out the entire workforce is doing all the fucking manual labor or, you know, even the intelligence. At that point, they don't need you. It's all profitable. And they took out a complete entire sector. Another thing about the immigrants before I go, someone was asking me, because I be on these posts or whatnot, leaving comments. I'm like, man, a lot of the people were too uninformed to know how, you know, basically eliminating that particular workforce would go ahead and boost inflation. Well, I basically, just to kind of reiterate, it's pretty fucking simple, right? If I can't have, say, Juan and Diego come over and do my roof for, say, $3,500, right? Because you deported them. Good people too, by the way. Fucked around, did nothing wrong. Fucked around, worked, started their own business, whatever the case may be. Now I have to go to a commercial company and I have to pay $7,000 for my roof. For those palm trees, right? I could pay Diego $300 to go and get up there and fuck around and trim those palm trees. Now I have to pay $500 to $600 for an American to do it, if they'll do it. I also have to worry about all kinds of insurance shit, right? Much more. So, you tell me if you want to rethink all the shit that you fucking around and thought that this motherfucking campaign was doing for you. Because it sounds like so far, it's civil war inside the cabinet. It looks like a fucking shit show. You try to nominate a motherfucking molester that's paid nothing but prostitutes and underage women for attorney general. Y'all still rocking with the shit? Y'all be the motherfucking judge.